Why your twin flame went silent. The truth. No one tells you. I know the silence is destroying you. I know you wake up every morning wondering what you did wrong, why the person who felt like home suddenly became a stranger. I see you checking your phone every few minutes, hoping for a message that never comes. Replaying every conversation, searching for the moment everything went wrong. Your twin flame did not go silent because they stopped loving you. They went silent because they are terrified of what they feel, overwhelmed by a connection that challenges everything they thought they knew about love and themselves. But here is the truth, no one tells you. Clinging to this silence is destroying your ability to build genuine happiness and authentic relationships in your life. Tell me in the comments, how long has it been since you last heard from them? Type silent if this resonates with your pain. I know the emptiness that consumes you when they do not respond. I feel every tear you have cried, wondering if you imagined the connection. How many nights have you replayed every conversation, searching for the moment when everything went wrong? How many times have you questioned your own intuition about what you shared? But let me reveal something that will change your entire perspective. The longer you remain fixated on their silence, the more you damage your own capacity for love, self-worth, and emotional growth. You are not honoring a divine connection. You are feeding an addiction that prevents you from becoming the person you were meant to be. You feel abandoned because you do not understand that sometimes people go silent, not because of cosmic reasons, but because they have made a choice about what they want in their life. And that choice does not include you. This is not divine orchestration preparing your souls for reunion. This is human behavior that requires your acceptance and response with dignity and self-respect. The universe is not keeping you apart to teach you lessons about unconditional love. Life is presenting you with an opportunity to learn the most important lesson of all: how to love yourself enough to stop accepting treatment that diminishes your worth and happiness. But today I am going to reveal the spiritual truth behind why your twin flame went silent, and more importantly, why continuing to wait for them is preventing you from experiencing the authentic love and joy you deserve. Prepare yourself, because this knowledge will transform not only how you see this separation, but how you understand your own value and potential for genuine happiness. The first truth about twin flame silence is that it often stems from basic human psychology, not divine intervention. When people feel overwhelmed by emotional intensity or commitment, they choose distance as a coping mechanism. Your connection may have felt profound and life-changing to you, but they may have experienced it as pressure, expectation, or responsibility they were not ready to handle. This silence is not spiritual testing. It is someone communicating through their actions that they are not available for the kind of relationship you desire. The most loving thing you can do for yourself is to accept this communication, rather than creating elaborate spiritual explanations that keep you emotionally imprisoned. The wounded person runs from emotional intimacy because they have not developed the skills, willingness, or capacity to engage in healthy, committed relationships. They go silent to avoid difficult conversations, emotional responsibility, and the vulnerability that authentic love requires. This is not about divine masculine or feminine energy. This is about emotional maturity and relationship readiness. Understanding this dynamic changes everything about how you should respond. Your twin flame's silence is not about your inadequacy or their cosmic purpose. It is about their current capacity for relationship and communication. They are not rejecting the divine in you. They are showing you who they are through their choices and actions. This is why waiting, hoping, and trying to decode spiritual meanings behind their silence always leads to more pain. You are assigning mystical significance to behavior that may simply reflect their limitations, fears, or different priorities. Some people are not ready for deep connection. Others are not interested in commitment, and many are simply not the right match despite initial chemistry. The second truth about twin flame silence involves the dangerous psychology of fantasy versus reality. When someone goes silent, your mind fills the void with stories, explanations, and possibilities that often have no basis in their actual feelings or intentions. You begin relating to your idea of them rather than the reality of who they are and what they have chosen. This psychological pattern keeps you emotionally unavailable for authentic connections with people who are actually present, willing, and capable of healthy relationship. While you are waiting for someone who has chosen silence, you are missing opportunities to build genuine love with someone who chooses daily communication, presence, and commitment. The longer you maintain this fantasy, the more you damage your ability to recognize and appreciate real love when it appears. You become addicted to the intensity of longing, the drama of separation, and the hope of reunion rather than learning to value consistency, reliability, and mutual effort that characterize healthy relationships. Your separation is teaching you something crucial, but it is not what most people tell you. It is teaching you that love without reciprocity is not love, it is attachment. Love without communication is not connection, it is projection. Love without presence is not relationship, it is fantasy. The universe is presenting you with an opportunity to develop discernment about who deserves your emotional investment. Not everyone who triggers intense feelings is meant to be your life partner. Sometimes the most important people in your life are those who teach you what you will not accept, by showing you what genuine love looks like through their absence. Think of this silence as a gift that reveals important information about compatibility, communication style, and relationship values. Someone who truly values you will not leave you guessing about their feelings or intentions. They will not require you to decode silence or create spiritual explanations for their absence. When you accept that their silence is communication, specifically, communication that they are not available for the relationship you desire, you free yourself to seek connections with people who share your values about communication, commitment, and emotional presence. This is why analyzing, waiting, or trying to spiritually transform them always fails. You are trying to change someone's fundamental approach to relationships, rather than accepting who they are and deciding whether that works for your life and happiness. The third truth involves recognizing the difference between spiritual growth and emotional stagnation, disguised as spiritual practice. Many people who wait indefinitely for silent twin flames believe they are developing patience, unconditional love, and spiritual maturity. In reality, they are often avoiding the challenging work of building self-worth, developing healthy boundaries, and creating authentic relationships. True spiritual growth involves learning when to hold on and when to let go. It requires developing the wisdom to distinguish between temporary challenges in committed relationships and fundamental incompatibility or unavailability. Spiritual maturity includes honoring your own needs for communication, presence, and reciprocity, rather than sacrificing them for romantic idealization. The most spiritually advanced response to prolonged silence is not waiting and hoping. It is accepting reality with grace, and choosing to invest your love where it can flourish and be returned. This teaches you about your own worth, develops your capacity for healthy boundaries, and opens space for authentic connection with available partners. Tell me honestly, are you using spiritual concepts to avoid accepting that this person has shown you through their actions what they want, and it is not an active relationship with you? The fourth truth about twin flame silence reveals the psychological trap that keeps you stuck in emotional limbo. When someone disappears without explanation, your mind creates a trauma bond that mimics the feeling of spiritual connection. The uncertainty, the intermittent reinforcement of hope, and the emotional intensity create an addictive cycle that feels profound, but actually prevents healing and growth. This trauma bond convinces you that the pain you feel proves the depth of your connection, when it actually demonstrates the depth of your attachment to unavailability. You begin to confuse intensity with intimacy, longing with love, and obsession with spiritual awakening. The silence becomes a drug that keeps you emotionally high while preventing you from building stable, consistent happiness. Breaking free from this cycle requires recognizing that healthy love feels peaceful, not torturous. Genuine spiritual connections enhance your life, rather than dominating it. Real soulmate relationships involve mutual effort, clear communication, and consistent presence rather than dramatic separations and mysterious silence. The person who is right for you will not require you to decode their absence or create elaborate explanations for their behavior. They will show up consistently, communicate directly, and invest equal energy in building connection. They will not leave you questioning your worth or wondering if you imagined the bond you shared. Your twin flame is silence is not preparing you for sacred union. It is revealing fundamental incompatibility in communication styles, relationship values, and emotional availability. The most loving response to this revelation is accepting it and redirecting your emotional energy toward connections that nourish rather than drain you. This process of acceptance does not mean you lack faith or spiritual understanding. It means you have developed enough self-respect to recognize that love requires presence, not just feeling. You have learned that actions communicate more accurately than words, and silence communicates most clearly of all. The fifth truth involves understanding how waiting for unavailable people prevents you from developing the skills necessary for healthy relationships. While you are focused on someone who cannot or will not communicate with you, you are not learning how to navigate conflict, build intimacy, or create partnership with someone who is actually present. You miss opportunities to practice vulnerability with safe people, to develop trust through consistent interaction, and to experience love that grows stronger through daily choice rather than dramatic absence. Your emotional energy becomes completely invested in fantasy rather than reality-based relationship building. This pattern often stems from childhood wounds that taught you to associate love with uncertainty, effort with worthiness, and pain with depth. Your attraction to unavailable people feels familiar because it recreates family dynamics where love was conditional, inconsistent, or required you to prove your value through persistence and accommodation. Healing these patterns requires choosing differently, not waiting for unavailable people to change. It means developing attraction to consistency, kindness, and emotional stability, rather than intensity, mystery, and drama. This feels boring at first because your nervous system is addicted to the chemicals produced by uncertainty and longing. True spiritual work involves rewiring your nervous system to recognize healthy love, not justifying unhealthy patterns with spiritual language. It requires facing the uncomfortable truth that you may be attracted to unavailability because it feels safer than the vulnerability required for genuine intimacy with present, willing partners. The sixth truth about twin flame silence addresses the dangerous belief that suffering for love proves spiritual advancement. Many people who wait for silent partners believe their patience and endurance demonstrate evolved consciousness, when they actually demonstrate learned helplessness and poor boundaries disguised as spiritual practice. Spiritual traditions teach about letting go, accepting what you cannot control, and finding peace within yourself rather than depending on external circumstances for happiness. Waiting indefinitely for someone who has chosen silence violates all of these principles while masquerading as spiritual discipline. Real spiritual growth involves releasing attachment to specific outcomes and trusting that the universe will bring you experiences that support your highest good. If someone's absence is causing ongoing pain, confusion, and emotional instability, their presence is probably not aligned with your spiritual evolution. The most spiritually mature response to prolonged silence is blessing the person with love, while redirecting your attention toward people and experiences that actively contribute to your growth, joy, and well-being. This demonstrates trust in divine timing, while honoring your responsibility for your own happiness. Your spiritual development does not depend on any specific person choosing you. It depends on your willingness to choose yourself, to invest your energy where it can flourish, and to remain open to love in whatever form serves your highest expression. Continuing to wait for someone who has demonstrated unavailability through silence often reflects spiritual bypassing, using spiritual concepts to avoid dealing with practical realities and emotional needs. True spirituality integrates wisdom with practical action that supports your overall well-being. The seventh truth reveals how twin flame silence often serves as a spiritual awakening catalyst, but not in the way most people expect. The pain of separation forces you to examine your patterns around love, worthiness, and relationship expectations. This examination can lead to profound healing and growth, but only if you use it to develop healthier patterns rather than reinforcing unhealthy ones. Your twin flame silence is teaching you about your own relationship with abandonment, rejection, and self-worth. It is revealing whether you love from wholeness or neediness, whether you can maintain your center during uncertainty, and whether you have learned to find validation from within rather than from external sources. These lessons are valuable, but they do not require you to remain emotionally invested in someone who is not available for relationship. You can learn and grow while also protecting your heart by setting boundaries around how much energy you invest in people who do not reciprocate. The spiritual gift of this experience is developing discernment about where to place your emotional investment, learning to recognize your worth, independent of others' choices, and building the capacity to create joy and fulfillment, regardless of any specific person's presence or absence in your life. This growth prepares you for authentic spiritual partnership with someone who matches your capacity for communication, commitment, and conscious relationship building. It teaches you to value presence over intensity and consistency over chemistry. Are you ready to use this experience as a catalyst for choosing differently? Or are you using spiritual concepts to justify staying stuck in patterns that prevent you from experiencing the love you actually deserve? The eighth truth about twin flame silence exposes the harmful myth that real love requires suffering and waiting. This belief system keeps you trapped in relationships that drain your energy while convincing you that the pain proves the connection is authenticity. In reality, healthy love feels supportive, nurturing, and enhancing, rather than depleting and confusing. When you mistake emotional turmoil for spiritual depth, you become unable to recognize and receive the peaceful, stable love that actually supports your growth and happiness. You develop an addiction to relationship drama that prevents you from appreciating partners who offer consistency, kindness, and reliable presence. The person who is truly aligned with your highest good will not put you through extended periods of silence, confusion, or emotional distress. They will communicate openly about their feelings, intentions, and availability. They will not require you to decode their behavior or create elaborate explanations for their absence. Breaking free from the suffering equals love paradigm requires developing new neural pathways that associate love with peace, growth with stability, and depth with consistency. This feels uncomfortable initially because your system is accustomed to the intensity of uncertainty and longing. True twin flame connection, if such a thing exists, would involve mutual recognition, effort, and commitment to growth together rather than dramatic separations and mysterious silence. Real spiritual partnership requires both people to show up fully, communicate honestly, and work through challenges together rather than running away when intensity arises. Your twin flame's silence is not testing your devotion or preparing you for sacred union. It is showing you that they are not ready, willing, or able to engage in the kind of conscious relationship you desire. The most loving response to this information is accepting it and choosing to invest your energy where it can create mutual joy and growth. The ninth truth involves recognizing how waiting for unavailable people becomes a form of self-abandonment disguised as loyalty and love. While you are focused entirely on someone who will not communicate with you, you are abandoning your own needs, dreams, and potential for happiness with available partners. This pattern often reflects deeper issues with self-worth that make unavailable people feel safer than those who might actually see and love you fully. If you believe you are not worthy of consistent love, you will unconsciously choose people who confirm this belief through their absence or unavailability. Healing requires shifting your focus from trying to earn love from unavailable people to learning to receive love from those who freely offer it. This means developing tolerance for being seen, appreciated, and chosen by emotionally available partners who do not require you to prove your worthiness through patience and endurance. The work involves recognizing that you deserve communication, presence, and reciprocity in your relationships. These are not unreasonable expectations. They are the foundation of healthy connection. Anyone who cannot or will not provide them is not compatible with your need for authentic relationship. Your spiritual journey does not require you to accept less than you need in order to prove your evolved consciousness. True spiritual maturity involves honoring your legitimate needs while maintaining compassion for those who cannot meet them. It means blessing people with love while protecting your energy for connections that nourish you. The 10th truth addresses the danger of spiritual bypassing that occurs when you use metaphysical concepts to avoid dealing with practical relationship realities. Believing that silence serves a divine purpose prevents you from taking appropriate action to protect your emotional well-being and create the love you actually want. Spiritual growth requires integration of wisdom with practical action. This means using spiritual understanding to make healthier choices, rather than to justify remaining in situations that cause ongoing pain and confusion. Real spirituality supports your well-being rather than requiring you to sacrifice it for theoretical growth. The universe supports your happiness and fulfillment, not your suffering and deprivation. If a connection consistently causes more pain than joy, more confusion than clarity, and more depletion than nourishment, it is not serving your spiritual evolution regardless of how intense it feels. Your higher self wants you to experience love that feels good, relationships that support your growth, and partnerships that enhance rather than diminish your life force. Waiting indefinitely for someone who has chosen silence often violates all of these spiritual principles. The most enlightened response to twin flame silence is using it as information about compatibility rather than as a spiritual test to endure. This demonstrates trust in your own worthiness and faith that the universe has better experiences available when you open to them. Tell me in the comments, are you ready to stop using spiritual concepts to justify accepting less than you deserve in relationships? Type ready if you are prepared to choose differently. The 11th truth reveals that your twin flame's silence often continues because they know you will wait regardless of their behavior. Your willingness to accept non-communication removes any motivation they might have to engage in the difficult conversations and emotional work that healthy relationships require. When you demonstrate through your actions that their silence is acceptable, you teach them that they do not need to develop better communication skills, emotional availability, or commitment capacity to keep you in their life. Your patience becomes an enabling force that prevents their growth rather than supporting it. This dynamic creates a toxic cycle where your spiritual rationalization of their behavior allows them to remain emotionally immature, while you sacrifice your needs for connection, clarity, and progression. Neither of you grows in this arrangement, despite whatever spiritual significance you assign to it. Breaking this cycle requires setting boundaries that honor your need for communication and presence in relationships. This might feel unspiritual because you have been taught that unconditional love means accepting any behavior. In reality, healthy love includes conditions that support the well-being of both people involved. True spiritual love sometimes requires saying no to behaviors that prevent growth and yes to standards that encourage both people to develop their highest potential. Your twin flame cannot learn to communicate better if you continue accepting their silence as spiritually meaningful. The 12th truth about twin flame silence is that it often becomes a convenient excuse to avoid the real work of building intimate relationships with available partners. While you are waiting for someone who is not present, you avoid the vulnerability, communication skills, and emotional maturity required for genuine partnership. Focusing on unavailable people allows you to maintain the fantasy of great love while avoiding the practical challenges of daily relationship building. You can idealize someone who is absent while avoiding the reality of navigating conflict, building trust, and creating partnership with someone who is actually present. This pattern keeps you emotionally unavailable for authentic connections that might challenge you to grow in real ways. The available person requires you to show up consistently, communicate honestly, and work through difficulties together, rather than creating romantic stories about separation and reunion. Your spiritual development actually depends on your willingness to engage with present reality, rather than escaping into fantasies about absent people. True growth happens through consistent interaction with others who challenge you to develop patience, compassion, and communication skills through daily practice. The person who is right for you will provide opportunities for spiritual growth through presence rather than absence, through communication rather than silence, and through mutual effort rather than one-sided longing. This kind of growth feels less dramatic, but creates lasting transformation and genuine happiness. Are you using the concept of twin flame silence to avoid the real spiritual work of learning to create healthy relationships with emotionally available people who want to build something beautiful together? The final truth about why your twin flame went silent is simple. They made a choice that reflects their current capacity, priorities, and availability for the kind of relationship you desire. This choice provides you with crucial information about compatibility that you can use to make empowered decisions about your own life and love. Accepting this reality does not mean you lack faith, spiritual understanding, or capacity for unconditional love. It means you have developed enough self-respect to recognize that healthy relationships require mutual effort, consistent communication, and shared commitment to growth together. Your spiritual journey will be enhanced by choosing partners who match your readiness for conscious relationship building, rather than waiting for unavailable people to develop capacities they may never possess. This is not giving up on love. It is choosing love that can actually flourish in reality rather than fantasy. The silence that has caused you so much pain can become the catalyst for creating the most beautiful chapter of your life, but only if you use it to choose differently, rather than waiting for external circumstances to change. Your happiness does not depend on any specific person choosing you. It depends on your willingness to choose yourself and remain open to love in whatever form serves your highest good. Stop accepting silence as communication. Stop waiting for people to become ready for what you offer. Stop using spiritual concepts to justify accepting less than you deserve in relationships. Your worth is not determined by anyone's ability to recognize it, and your capacity for love is not proven by your willingness to suffer for it. The world needs your love, but it needs you to share it with people who can receive it, return it, and build something beautiful with it. Your energy is precious. Invest it where it can create mutual joy, growth, and authentic connection. If this revelation has touched your heart, do not keep it for even 1 second more. Like this video, comment with the word silent, share it with your friends and family, and also in your WhatsApp groups. And of course, follow the channel to keep receiving messages that strengthen faith and renew hope. Do not lose the blessings God wants to give you today. Watch the infinite blessing videos available on our channel. If you wish to support this mission, do it now. Our support email is right below in the video description. Your immediate contribution keeps this mission alive and makes it possible for faith messages to reach where they are most needed today. If you have difficulties making the donation, ask a trusted family member or friend for help. Do not let technology stop you. By supporting, you become a living part of this movement of love and hope. Each donation is a seed of blessings that, if not planted today, is lost forever. Each contribution is received with gratitude and is destined exclusively to the production of new videos that inspire and transform lives. We are deeply grateful. Your generosity keeps this mission alive and allows us to reach and inspire more hearts. Act now. Be the spark that ignites hope in others. Together, we multiply blessings in such a fragile world. Thank you for being part of this chain of transformation.